Bom, muito bom dia a todos. Em primeiro lugar, quero agradecer ao querido amigo Felipe Fonteles Cabral e a todos os sócios do História do Dânima Simpson aqui presentes, pela gentileza de estarem recebendo esse evento da ABPI. Como sempre, o História do Dânima dando todo o apoio à ABPI, muito obrigado. Quero agradecer, naturalmente, a presença da Sara, que veio especialmente para essa cerimônia, para essa iniciativa. Para os que não me conhecem, eu sou Gabriel Leonardo, presidente da ABPI, e vamos ter muitos eventos ainda da ABPI esse ano, e já vou passar aqui a palavra para a Érica poder explicar o contexto desse nosso acordo com a Franklin Pierce, mas antes disso, precisamos fazer aqui uma pequena publicidade, né, Érica? Principalmente do nosso coquetel de happy hour de final de ano, em conjunto com a ABPI, que vai ser a inauguração da nova sede da ABPI, no dia 27 de novembro, nova sede da ABPI, para todo mundo que é do Rio de Janeiro, é fácil achar, Torre Rio Sul, né? Saímos da nossa antiga sede no centro, já saímos de lá. Para quem não sabe, a gente fez a doação para Parceiros da Educação, que é uma ONG muito bacana, que acabou de ganhar um prêmio da medalha Pedro Ernesto e tem um reconhecimento até internacional. Então, foi uma satisfação para nós da BPI poder contribuir com essa obra tão importante aqui, social do Rio de Janeiro. E, finalmente, a, não é evento presencial em São Paulo, não pode anunciar aqui no Rio de Janeiro. Pode, tá bom. Vai ser 11 de dezembro. Vai ter evento e vai ser baratinho e com almoço incluído. Então, vale a pena. E, além de todos os webinários que a gente está fazendo, né, em divulgação da Estratégia Nacional de Propriedade Intelectual, né, quem não recebe a newsletter da BPI, pode pedir para receber, não precisa ser associado, não, porque ela vai para todo mundo que tem interesse em receber, tá? Até para dar o gostinho para a pessoa se associar. Então, obrigado mais uma vez aí, a todos pela presença, parabéns a Érica, a Fernanda, a Felipe, pelas tratativas com a Franklin Pierce. E, Sarah, we really appreciate not only the long-standing partnership between Franklin Pierce and ABPI, but also this new agreement and your very long-standing commitment to creating ties and fostering relationships with Brazil. Thank you so much for being here. Eric.
Obrigada. Vou falar aqui sentadinha mesmo. Eu só vou fazer uma breve introdução de como isso tudo começou, né? Nosso relacionamento tem alguns anos já, né? Começou na pandemia, eu vou chegar lá. Mas essa estratégia em especial, ela vem de uma experiência pessoal que eu tive quando a minha filha queria se especializar com educação de qualidade no exterior e eu me vi com um valor altíssimo e muito pesado para nós brasileiros enfrentarmos. É um desafio a gente ter uma educação de qualidade no exterior no Brasil. E desde a nossa aproximação, né, e aí eu vou seguir adiante, vocês vão ver, é realmente financeiramente uma oportunidade viável de educação. E tudo começou porque a Franklin Pierce, né? A Franklin Pierce, a gente tem dois ex-alunos que colaboraram muito nesse relacionamento. Ele começou lá atrás, em 2020, quando pela primeira vez a reitora, a Megan, falou no nosso evento, falou justamente sobre o advogado do futuro, né? E isso tudo veio, nesses 4 anos, a gente veio moldando, e desde então, com a minha experiência pessoal, eu venho moldando esse acordo junto com a Sara. Thank you so much for being here today. A gente está celebrando hoje um momento muito especial, porque foi muito trabalhado para que, de fato, o que vai acontecer torna possível a especialização, que a gente sabe que alavanca a carreira de todo mundo, né? Assim, de todo advogado que precisa se especializar para alavancar a sua carreira. Então, Muito obrigado. Um agradecimento especial ao Felipe e à Fernanda, como ex-alunos, que o tempo inteiro apoiaram muito toda essa comunicação. Thank you so much for being here again. Foi muito o apoio da universidade, o entendimento da universidade sobre essa necessidade da comunidade de propriedade intelectual no Brasil foi muito importante também, porque vocês vão perceber que a gente foi bem fundo na questão dos descontos isso e tudo mais. E, enfim, eu só tenho agora, eu não quero atrapalhar, porque a Sara tem bastante coisa para contar sobre a universidade, mas é basicamente isso. Muito obrigada por estarem aqui. Esse programa vai ser depois, está sendo gravado e vai ser multiplicado, né? Então, mas hoje é importante que vocês tenham aqui a Sara para tirar dúvidas, para fazer perguntas e entender é, até onde se pode ir com essa iniciativa. Muito obrigada, Sara.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Okay. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you today. Erica and I have prepared a presentation to talk through this partnership and share a little bit about the programs that we offer at Franklin Pierce. I won't go into too much detail about each program, but I'll give a high level overview. And then I do have some materials with me today if you're interested in learning more. I'm happy to share more details for those who are interested. But let me just say thank you to Donna Monsingson for hosting us today, to Felipe and Fernanda for your support and helping to bring this partnership to fruition. It's really an honor to be here. I think, as Erica shared, this has been several years in the making, so it's really exciting to be here today to launch this partnership officially. So thank you. Okay, I'll start our presentation. Do we have? How did you know? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, I'll move a little closer, switch spots. Okay, and I was told to talk. I can hear it now, a little closer. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. So as I said, we're going to go over an introduction to this new agreement that was just signed recently. And really the goal of the partnership is to provide ABPI members with access to excellent training programs in the field of intellectual property that we offer at UNH Franklin Pierce. At ABPI, one of the objectives there is to promote education and professional development in IP and to advance knowledge and practices in the sector, contributing to the sector's growth. And so one way to do this is through formalized development and training in intellectual property. So with ABPI's goal to empower members with resources and educational partnerships so that they can face the challenges of the global IP market, connecting together to work on this goal made really excellent sense. All right, and so there's our school where we really have a tradition and excellence in IP. Franklin Pierce is globally recognized for its IP education. We have been around for over 50 years now and was really established as the law school for the information age. So it had a focus on intellectual property before anyone was really talking about intellectual property. And a highly specialized faculty known for producing outstanding professionals in the field. And this photo here is our it's not that new anymore, but it feels new, kind of our IP center wing that we have. Right. So we have a faculty that is comprised of leaders in IP, and what I'll share a little bit more about today are our programs in LLM, the Master of Laws, the Legal Master's degree for non-lawyers, a graduate certificate in IP, and then our Intellectual Property Summer Institute. Before we go into that, let me kind of talk through some of the benefits of this partnership. So through this agreement, we have developed special tuition scholarships for our programs. So regular ABPI members can benefit from a 25% scholarship or discount on all of the programs, all of our IP offerings. Gold and Platinum ABPI members will receive a 50% discount on programs through our cooperation agreement, with the exception of I'll talk more about our hybrid JD and IP technology and information law. But this discount is eligible for the LLM, the master's, the graduate certificate, and the IP Summer Institute. And then we have on top of that for applicants to what we call our legal graduate programs, the LLM, master's, and graduate certificate, an additional 10% discount that ABPI members may be eligible for based on their background. And so this is looking for applicants who have overcome challenges or contributed significantly to the community, may be eligible. So it's like a diversity type scholarship that we offer. And that would be determined through the admissions process. All right. Let's see. Up to date. Okay. So, sorry. So our programs will give ABPI members a chance to kind of continue their professional development, and stay up to date. The field is constantly changing, and a lot of our courses are looking at the fundamentals, but bringing in newer topics: sports law, entertainment law, media law, AI. All of these issues are incorporated into the classroom. All right, so let me talk through some of these programs now. So our LLM program, and I'll talk a little bit later on in the presentation about the timeline and the format for these. But the LLM, the Master of Laws, is designed for students who have a first professional degree in law. So typically the LLB or the JD. And it gives students a chance to get some specialized U.S. legal degree specialized in intellectual property. And you'll see that this can be done in person or online. For our in-person programs, due to the visa requirements, you do need to complete that program on a full-time schedule and essentially relocate to the U.S. for the duration of the program. We have the master's, a legal master's degree. So this is for students who are not lawyers by training. You have a bachelor's degree in a different area. Often these students are coming from STEM backgrounds, but we've had business students, art students. They really come from a range. I would say the most common would be some sort of engineering background. But the bachelor's degree we will accept any bachelor's degree from any field. And this gives students the chance to get some formalized legal training in issues of intellectual property that are really critical for the competitive landscape. And then we have the graduate certificate. So this program is open to lawyers and non-lawyers who are looking for a shorter term option. So maybe you don't have the time to do a full degree program or to move to the US for a year. But with the graduate certificate, you can earn those expert credentials, and some specialized IP training in just either one semester in person, or you can do this program online as well. So again, this is a good option for both lawyers and non-lawyers. And then we have IPSI, or IP Summer Institute. The goal of this program is to offer short-term courses for students and professionals that are really looking at trending topics in IP. And so as a result, we don't always know what we're going to offer from 1 year to the next, because we're really looking at issues that are front and center. And the way that we've developed this program now is that 1 year it's at our campus in Concord, New Hampshire, which is about 1 hour from Boston, Massachusetts. And then the next year we take IPSI, as we call it, on the road. And so this coming year we'll be offering IPSI in Seattle, Washington. And the goal of doing this is to really be able to bring more experts and industry leaders to the classroom to help teach these courses. Concord is a fabulous location, and Antonio, I'm sure he was just there with us for IPSI last year. But it's not necessarily where your industry leaders are working and living. And so if we bring IPSI to different locations, it allows us to leverage professionals for our classes as well. So this coming year, we'll be hosting IPSI in Seattle, Washington in June. I made myself a note. As I mentioned, the classes are still being developed, but as of today, we will have a class on AI and IP issues in the cloud, video games, IP issues and merchandising, and then a weekend course on IP issues and wine. So again, every year these classes are changing, but it's a great opportunity to come for a short time, typically just 1 to 2 weeks, and get some credentials there. And then we have our hybrid JD. So in 2019, our school launched the first in the nation specialized Juris Doctor program, and that was specialized in a specific area of the law. And so our program is specialized in intellectual property, technology, and information law. And the way this program works is students are able to complete the program mostly online. It requires in-person learning for what we call immersions, typically 3 to 5 days, where you come in person, but the rest of your classes can be completed online. So it's really opening up access to legal education to students who might otherwise not be able to put their lives on hold and enroll in a full-time JD program, which in the US takes 3 years to complete after you've already earned your bachelor's degree. So this program has really been truly groundbreaking, and we're seeing in this program like a non-traditional students who have been in the workforce for a number of years, who have always wanted to pursue their JD but didn't have the opportunity, and this has now given the opportunity so that they can continue working while they earn their degree. We also work with these immersions to take some of those on the road as well. So we've held some of these in locations like Boston, New York, Washington, D.C. I think there was some in Dallas. They've gone out to Silicon Valley. So again, another way to connect our students with industry to really you have a practice-oriented approach, which is a hallmark of the Franklin Pierce education. Okay, so in terms of the duration and timeline for these programs, so our LLM program can be completed at our campus in Concord, New Hampshire, between the months of August to May. So it's about 9 months that you would come and live in the US. The starting price is $42,000, but as we discussed, you may be eligible for a scholarship of up to 60%, depending on your membership level with ABPI. This program is also offered online. And in the online program, you can take classes on a full-time schedule and complete the program in 1 calendar year, or part-time and up to 3 years. So it is really designed for folks who are working and are trying to balance their degree with their professional lives and their personal lives. So you really set a pace that works for you. The classes are offered year-round. There are start dates in August and January, but then you do take classes through summer as well. And you can adjust the pace as you go. So I often recommend to students who are working full time to start out with just 1 or 2 classes, see how that feels. And then in the next semester, you can always take additional classes or adjust down as needed. Similarly, the master's program, again, that is full-time on campus between August to May, or online, you can do it full-time in 1 calendar year or part-time in up to 5 years. The LLM is 24 credits, the master's is 30, so we give you a little bit more time to complete that program. I don't know of anyone who's taken 5 years. I think most students do it in about 2 to 2.5 years. You know, they're coming because they want to have that degree. But it does give you the flexibility to set and adjust a pace as you need. And then the graduate certificate. So this is that shorter term program that's essentially half of the master's or the LLM. So you can come on campus and do it between August to December, so about 4 months, or you can do this program online and take up to 5 semesters to complete it, which would essentially be about 1 course a semester. And then with IPSI, so I mentioned this would be up to 2 weeks. This year, we're looking at the dates are June 10th to 13th, and then the 14th to 15th for that weekend course on IP issues and wine. So really just a week. And the way it works is that you come and there's different courses that you can choose to take. Antonio, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you want to just mention the courses that you took last summer when you were with us?
That's better. Thank you. Well, I met some another attorneys from Latin America. They were there just for one course or just for 1 week. We there were we were with the Inter American Association. We took the full 2 weeks, so we took all available spots that we could choose from, and it was a great experience so far because at the same time that it's going on, you have the opportunity to meet with the LLM students, the JD students that are also there taking the same classes. So it's a very a networking opportunity, and I would say a very educational from a educational point of view, very interesting so far because, well, there were some professionals already. So the patent agents, trademark agents, they're already working in the US. So you have the opportunity to interchange with them. So far it was a very great experience and I recommend for y'all.
Thank you. Yes, and I'm glad that you mentioned the networking component because part of it is of course the classroom component, but also there's events that happen throughout the week so that folks can really connect with one another and network. It does draw professionals from the field, and I think this year with being in Seattle, we'll have more opportunities for networking with folks from the field as well. And then our hybrid JD program. So this program is designed to it was designed to be about 3.5 years. We are seeing that some students are able to complete the program in 3 years. It's a pretty intense schedule. As I mentioned, you do come for in-person learning 4 times a year. This is in August, October, March, and June. Sometimes the June will either overlap or go just after IPSI so that students will take those classes as well. And so that is kind of the full JD degree, which is the preferred degree in law in the US for practicing attorneys. All right. So reasons to consider for participating in this program. So it gives you the opportunity to build a relationship with both with Franklin Pierce and with ABPI, which are really institutions that are enhancing your learning experience and networking opportunities.
And I love the picture because it creates the impression that we own the whole building.
Well, I can tell you in the bottom picture, we do own the whole building there. So, yeah. By participating in these programs, you'll enhance your expertise in IP. You'll gain the knowledge and the skills that are really essential in the global market. I have so much that I can say about the student experience at the law school. I think our faculty, we talk about what we call an open door policy. And it is so true. I mean, you walk down the hall and the faculty are there they are at the service of the students. They want to connect with our students. They want to hear your ideas. They want to help where you need help. And so while they tend to hold some, office hours, they are showing up at student organization events. They're coming to things after hours. They are really there to engage with the students. And I would say in terms of the student experience, there are so many different student organizations. Some are more kind of general interest. And then I would say there's about a dozen that are like IP focused. And they are bringing in guest speakers. They are doing all sorts of different events to help students build connections. Our career services office is absolutely phenomenal. They are working with students one-on-one to help them with their goals. So it's really just a tremendous opportunity. And there is, I think at the end of the day, though, what stands out the most is the sense of community that students feel when they come to Franklin Pierce. And I think that's why we have such fabulous alumni that still feel so connected to the school, is that they built these special relationships when they were there that have served them well in their career, but are also personal relationships, that they formed friendships, they formed marriages. So I think it is a true sense of community there. Yeah. We mentioned a little bit about the networking opportunities with industry professionals and your fellow classmates. So our career services office, they are bringing in employers while they're there, to help you, even if you're not looking for a new job, just to help you practice the networking skills and the interviewing and but lots of opportunities going on. We just had every year we have an alumni reunion. And a key part of that now is a networking breakfast with alumni and current students. So really creating these opportunities for you while you're there. And then of course you'll gain a global perspective on IP, understanding international practices and trends, and really preparing you for your career ahead. So when you come, you are in class with, of course, American students, but in your LLM and master's classes, you're in class with students from around the world. So this year we have students from Brazil, from Colombia, from India, Nepal, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Kenya, Taiwan. We have JD students from China and South Korea. Every year looks a little bit different, but these are the people that you're in class with and learning from one another. Some of these students are coming straight from finishing their undergraduate, but most have some experience. And so they're bringing their professional experience to the classroom as well to make for a really enriching learning experience.
What's the requirement in the mastering of the English language?
Yes, of course. So we do have, when you apply to the program, there is a component to kind of prove that you have a certain level of English language proficiency. We will accept the TOEFL, and we're looking for a minimum score of 80, or IELTS, in which case we need a minimum score of 6.5. In some cases where students earned their first degree in English, we will accept that in lieu of the TOEFL or IELTS. So TOEFL minimum score of 80, IELTS minimum score of 6.5, or a first degree in English. For IPSI, we don't have an English language requirement. I think it's kind of self-determined if you feel like you could be able to keep up and listen, in that. And then, of course, participating in these programs will support your career advancement. Whether that, I would say some of our students, they come and they have a goal to stay in the U.S. for some time and work through what's called optional practical training. So this allows you to extend your student visa for up to 1 year to work in the U.S. So some students want to pursue that to get some hands-on kind of experience in the U.S. Other students are looking to return home immediately. Some may be looking to just be able to be eligible for a promotion with their current employer. Some may be looking for a new employer, but we're finding successful outcomes in all of those scenarios for our students. So whatever your goals are, our career services office will be there to support you with them. And I would say it's about, for our LLM students, about 50% look to pursue optional practical training, and then the other 50% are planning to return home. Most are looking to return home eventually, but some really want that work experience in the US. For those who might not pursue optional practical training, students who come are eligible to participate in our legal clinics, which gives you a chance to get some hands-on experience while you're earning course credit. So we have an intellectual property and transaction clinic, which gives students a limited license to practice before the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. And then we have an International Technology Transfer Institute, which is looking at capacity building and development using IP. And actually, that program is doing a lot of work in Latin America right now. And then some testimonials, probably some familiar faces. Yeah. Please. Yes.
Obrigado. Thank you, Sarah, and congratulations for this partnership with ABPI. I'm quite sure that this partnership will be very important for the Brazilian students that want to study abroad. If you allow me, I'm going to switch to Portuguese so as to address directly to the audience, but I'm going to talk to you 3 main reasons why you should not only study in the US, not only study IP abroad, but to choose study intellectual property at Franklin Pierce. Pessoal, 3 razões. Vocês sabem que propriedade intelectual é um ramo extremamente internacional. Nossos maiores clientes, o maior volume de trabalho, e as tendências acadêmicas de propriedade intelectual normalmente vêm de fora. Então, estudar em um outro país, especificamente nos Estados Unidos, na Franklin Pierce, você terá a oportunidade de ter contato com outra cultura e, como a Sara mencionou muito bem, você terá a oportunidade de conhecer alunos do mundo inteiro, estará lado a lado, estudando na mesma sala com pessoas da China, Japão, Coreia, Europa, África, evidentemente a América do Sul. Então você terá um intercâmbio cultural fantástico. Segundo motivo, eu acho que estudar fora você ganha um conhecimento muito aprofundado de propriedade intelectual. Eles estão, sem dúvida nenhuma, um passo à frente em vários aspectos do estudo da propriedade intelectual. E eu posso dar um testemunho muito pessoal. Foi estudando na Franklin Pierce que, pela primeira vez, na aula da Susan Rich, amiga da Fernanda, que eu tive a primeira vez contato com o Polaroid Factors, que é um teste desenvolvido pela jurisprudência norte-americana para fazer a análise de confusão de marca. E estudando isso, eu falei, poxa, acho que isso poderia ser aplicado no Brasil. Então, de volta ao Brasil, estudei a jurisprudência nacional e foi então que eu escrevi o teste 360 que vem sendo aplicado aqui pelos tribunais pátrios aqui, especialmente pelo STJ. Então, estudar lá fora é realmente inspirador, traz muita informação e permite que você esteja aí na vanguarda dos estudos de propriedade intelectual. E, por último, a Franklin Pierce, especificamente. Por que a Franklin Pierce? É uma universidade que é aberta a todos os ramos do direito, mas é muito focada em propriedade intelectual. E lá você não é um número. Todos os professores e o staff, em geral, conhecem os alunos pelo nome e estão preocupados em acolher bem os alunos, principalmente alunos estrangeiros. Eles sabem que tem uma dificuldade grande de adaptação, em procurar o housing, em locomoção, e a faculdade toda dá esse suporte. Então, posso dizer que é muito confortável estudar na Franklin Pierce, e você terá um contato direto com os professores, fora das aulas, nos refeitórios. Então, é uma experiência única e eu realmente recomendo que vocês busquem essa opção se tiverem interesse. Mesmo aqueles que já tiveram algum tipo de graduação aqui no Brasil, fizeram pós-graduação em propriedade intelectual, mestrado, doutorado, lá é um outro animal, é uma experiência que realmente complementa e vale para a vida. Obrigado. Fernanda?
Hard to follow this because you said exactly everything I believe, and that's how I experienced Franklin Pierce too. Sarah, thank you so much as always for being here, and as Erica said, for trying to engage really the community in Brazil. Well, I'm going to speak in Portuguese too, the same way. Eu acho que quando eu olho para trás, em 2002, eu fui para os Estados Unidos, uma menina de 25 anos. Acho que o Felipe reflete muito bem. Vou tentar trazer muito para o lado pessoal, para o lado, né, o desafio do humano fazendo essa descoberta, mas valido cada palavra que o Felipe disse em relação à experiência na própria faculdade, a questão de você não ser um número, você realmente é alguém que é conhecido pela faculty da escola até hoje. Até hoje eu bato na porta desse mesmo network, seja dos professores. Você mencionou a Susan Rich. A Susan Rich foi uma professora extremamente importante na academia da Franklin Pierce nessa época e acabou virando diretora do USPTO para marcas. E ela foi uma inspiração para mim. Eu realmente fui abrir a minha cabeça em relação ao sistema americano o legal system a partir da aula dela de marcas, minha primeira aulinha no LLM da Franklin Pierce. E a partir dali eu a segui em alguns outros 2 cursos para aprender como era o sistema federal versus o sistema estadual nos Estados Unidos, que para a gente é um desafio vindo do civil law. E realmente foi uma modulação da minha forma de pensar, do ponto de vista do direito, né? A gente vai para um outro sistema jurídico, se aprende coisas que não são relevantes diretamente para a nossa realidade no Brasil, mas o exercício de fazer esse caminho foi o que abriu portas na minha forma de pensar, na minha forma de até de continuar sendo capaz de aprender. Então, para alguém que foi e voltou, e voltou, se eu não tivesse essa habilidade de aprender a aprender, hoje eu acho que eu realmente não estaria nem, talvez, mais praticando direito. Então, esse é o desafio, foi a experiência acadêmica. E do lado pessoal, eu acho que isso que o Felipe comentou sobre não sermos um número foi extremamente importante para mim. Eu bati na porta de pessoas com quem eu estudei naquela época, eu bato e bati na porta de pessoas que estiveram no mesmo lugar que eu 10 anos antes, então amigos que se tornaram amigos. E realmente é uma escola que te permite vivenciar aquela experiência de escola americana nos full potential. Então, não é uma simples faculdade. A cidade de Concord é um desafio, não é tão atraente quanto ir para uma NYU, Nova York. Era o meu desejo inicial, assim, eu quero ir para Nova York. E, graças a Deus, eu não fui para Nova York, me qualifiquei no TOEFL da Franklin Pierce, porque transformou a minha experiência, a minha vida profissional e, obviamente, pessoal. Então, eu realmente encorajo que vocês entendam o que é a Franklin Pierce, estar naquele prédio ali, exclusivamente com pessoas do ramo do direito e da propriedade intelectual muito focada, é uma vivência que transforma, é uma vivência que transforma. Não à toa, acho que a gente fica emocionado de falar daquilo, porque acho que olhando para trás, 22 anos atrás, a gente entende que não precisava ter falado, né? Não precisava, um pouquinho de tempo. E para não esquecer desse ponto, porque a Sara falou da questão do acolhimento e do staff, quando eu fui em 2002, a gente não tinha essas opções de fazer parte do programa online, né? The structure of the program wasn't available, the online experience. E é um comprometimento enorme. Eu saí do escritório que eu estava na época, né? Saí completamente, fui lá, fiquei um ano. Morei depois um tempo para trabalhar, como ela comentou do programa pós-escola, né? Você tem a oportunidade de fazer um estágio, um programa dentro de escritórios e empresas. Eu não tive essa oportunidade de fazer online. E já me deu vontade aqui, olhando as opções da Franklin Pierce, de tentar buscar esse conhecimento mais uma vez. É uma piscina né, um pool de informações disponíveis hoje online que a gente não tinha em 2002. Então, eu acho que esse é uma questão a se pensar, por estar tão facilmente disponível, de novo, coisa que eu não tinha em 2002, época do Napster, só para colocar todo mundo na mesma página. O case law era do Napster, tá? O que a gente estudava era o Napster, então vou te colocar no tempo aí. Foi um prazer. It's really nice having you here. I'm just sharing my personal experience as how challenging it was to have to move to Concord. It's definitely something that you have to be investing on. But nowadays, with the technology and the way you structure the program, is definitely a different opportunity that we all had, and then most schools offer too. In most schools. Obrigada.
Thank you. I think, because you mentioned the online program, and that has certainly opened up and made the programs more accessible to students around the world and within the US, so that they can earn their degree while they're working. I think for those of you who are interested in earning your degree, if you're able to come in person, you're going to get a phenomenal education no matter which format you choose. But I think that in-person experience of moving to another country for a period of time, it shows grit and determination. You will build relationships in a way that I think can just be harder to build in the online space. And so there's a lot of value add there. But that's not possible for everyone. And we're so fortunate to have these online programs where it gives students the flexibility to be able to earn their degree and gain the knowledge that they're looking for in a way that fits for their life. So we will work with you, whichever is best. I think, yeah. And then this, I think, is linking you to the website. On your seat is a brochure with some high level information about the partnership and the different discount, the different tiers for the discount. As I mentioned, I have some additional information about the school, our programs. I have what we call our IP View book, which gives you more information about the faculty and the special programming that we offer, and where we are and where we're going. So please see me after, and I'm happy to share that with you. I think that That's it. Yes. So thank you. And I do just want to say thank you again to ABPI and to our alumni friends and partners. It's I know we've worked so hard on this, and it's taken some time to get off the ground, and so it's really exciting that we're finally here. We are Franklin Pierce is truly invested in the country of Brazil, and we love our Brazilian students, and we want more of them, and we want to do what we can to mutually benefit one another. So I'm thrilled that we're here today. So thank you. Yeah.
Ah, bom, se alguém tiver alguma pergunta para fazer, eu acho que a gente foi bem explicativo na apresentação, né, Sara? Mas se alguém tiver alguma pergunta, a hora é essa. Alguma dúvida?
For the TOEFL requirement, how long you have to take the test? Like it has an expiration, I think.
Yes, yep, good question. So we look for a test score that was taken within the last 3 years. Yep. We do, there's the hybrid JD program is more rigid, and I should say for them, I believe you need a TOEFL of 100 for the JD. With the LLM and the masters, I've got like a little bit of flexibility, but really we want to make sure that you have the level of English required to be successful in the program. So we know you're such a commitment to come and enroll, so we want to make sure that you'll be successful. Yeah. Obrigada.
Regarding the TOEFL, you mentioned waiver if you have a degree in English. Is it college level degree or?
Yeah, so it needs to be a bachelor's degree. Yeah, it needs to be a bachelor's degree. I was going to say sometimes we can be flexible there too. Again, we don't want to put all these unnecessary barriers, but we need to maintain the integrity of the admissions process, and again, make sure that you'll be successful. But if you have a bachelor's degree, and for proof of that, you submit for the application your transcripts, your academic records, and oftentimes it will say that English was the medium of instruction. If not, we'll accept a letter from like typically the registrar's office.
Sarah, I was just thinking here, I think it would be interesting for everybody to understand the power of Franklin Pierce, post Franklin Pierce. In other words, can you talk a little bit about how the school connects people and alumni after the school, and how, we've seen former JDs, I think even LLMs who have been very active, for instance, with INTA, presidents of INTA who are Franklin Pierce JDs, and so on and so forth. Can you talk a little bit about this post this investment, the desire to be there, how people go back to school? And I try to touch on that a little bit, but it'd be great to hear from you.
Yeah, no, I think so our alumni network they're in over 80 countries around the world. And I think that Franklin Pierce, with its worldwide reputation, when someone says that they went to Franklin Pierce for their degree, it holds weight. Mickey Minhas, who is the director of our IP Center and an alum himself, he earned his JD and MIP with us. He talks about a story when he was in this really, and I don't know all the details, so I don't want to get them wrong, but he shares the story where he was like in these really intense negotiations with someone. And then they realized that they were both Franklin Pierce alumni, and it instantly kind of gave credibility to the other one and kind of diffused what was otherwise a fairly tense situation and allow them to get to a resolution in this very amicable and efficient way that otherwise, Mickey's like, it just wouldn't have happened. Like it wasn't going great. So I think that there's, we hear these stories. We sometimes our alumni are reaching out to say, do you have anyone that in such and such a country to make a recommendation? So I think and then as I mentioned, you're in class with students from around the world. So you're building these relationships that really will span your career. I mentioned our career services office. They're there for you post-graduation. So once you are a student with us, you have lifelong access to the career services office. And career services has lifelong access to you, hopefully, and that we, but what we find is that our alumni really want to give back. They want to connect with our current students. They want to give back to Franklin Pierce, and and they want to hire our students. They know about the quality of students that are produced, and so they are really quick to reach out and say, hey, I need somebody that's good in this area and to help us place students after they've graduated. Yeah.
Sarah, gotta tell you, I was a little bit frustrated not seeing a picture of the library facing the White Park. There's this huge window from the library facing the White Park, which is gorgeous. Could you please tell us a little bit about the way of living in Concord, what they do during the weekend, sports and everything?
Yes. So Concord, and I am biased, I live in Concord. But it is just a lovely community. So I think some students who come from major cities, which the majority of our international students do, it can be, there's an adjustment period because it's a city, but it's like a smaller residential area. So you're living in a neighborhood, really. We experience all 4 seasons in New Hampshire. So right now it's fall. I think I left just at kind of almost peak foliage where the leaves are just absolutely beautiful on the trees and starting to fall. The winter, the law school is located right across the street from one of the community parks. There's a little pond there, and if and when it gets cold enough in the winter and freezes, you can go ice skating. And since you were there, they've built this beautiful lodge. Yes, yep. There's skiing all over the place, and we take now every year we have a tradition of taking our international students snow tubing. So if you're not familiar with snow tubing, you essentially kind of get a ride up to the top of a mountain, and then you kind of hurl yourself down the mountain on a tube. And it's ridiculous, but they say every year it's their favorite activity. So we do that in the fall. We take our international students, which is more, I shouldn't just say it started with international and it's become a whole community event. I think we had 100 people at an apple orchard in Concord just a couple weeks ago picking apples. Um, I was in touch this morning with one of our international students from India who's working with our student life team to plan an event to do pumpkin carving in the fall. Halloween is a really big holiday in Concord in particular. It's big in the US, but Concord really goes over the top. And our main street, which is walkable from campus, they have one night called the Halloween Howl where all of the street is shut down and the shops are giving out candy to all of the kids. And it's just this big costume parade down Main Street. And then on the night of Halloween, there's a beautiful street and a historical street in Concord called Auburn Street, which is just behind the law school. And they see over, I think, 1,500 trick-or-treaters each year. There's one house that they call the house that counts, and they keep track of how many trick-or-treaters have come. And each of the homes has a special theme. They've decorated, they're giving out a very specific treat. There's like cotton candy and hot chocolate and ice cream. So that's the fall. And then in the winter, Main Street does midnight merriment where the shops stay open till midnight. And it's just a really magical time. So lots of community events within Concord. What we hear from our students is that they at first, needed to adjust to not being in such a big city, but then they're so happy that they found the quiet of Concord and the nature. And that Boston is just 1 hour away by bus, and there's easy transportation from Concord that goes to Boston almost every hour. So it's easy to get there. New York is about a 4 hour drive, Montreal about 3.5 hours. So really a lovely place to be. And then I think especially for people who enjoy the outdoors, skiing in the winter, wonderful, the White Mountains for hiking. New Hampshire has a whole lakes district where you can enjoy the lakes. The law school has there's an outdoors club and a sports club. So lots of opportunities to kind of get outside and get active. Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Awesome program. I have 2 questions for you. I don't know if you said that, but the online program, do we have to be there at some point physically?
No, for the LLM, for the legal graduate, the LLM, the master's and the graduate certificate, it is 100% online. We invite all of our students to come for graduation. You don't have to, but we invite you to come, and that is in person. And then you can take some of the IPSI courses for credit. So and those are in person, but you don't have to. So that's completely optional. The program can be done 100% online. For the hybrid JD, that is hybrid. So it's mostly online, but you do come in person 4 times a year.
You said that every other year you make a course. I don't know the name of the outside Concord, right?
And that's IPSI. So that stands for the IP Summer Institute.
Do you have any plans to do these courses abroad, for
Yeah.
example, in Brazil?
Good question. Good question. So I don't know for IPSI. What I can tell you is, in addition to that, we do during the winter break. So students have off kind of the middle of December to the middle of January. And we've started what we call a J term course. So that January, where we go away for 1 week with students. That has happened in Silicon Valley, Las Vegas, and Hawaii. And we have talked about, maybe for 1 week we could take that international. Nothing specific at this time. I will make note of your suggestion. But yeah, a great point for IPSI too. There was actually talk at one point about IPSI in China. Many years ago, there was what they called CHIPSI, so the China IP Summer Institute. And we had talked about that for this year, but worried that it wouldn't be a good fit for too many. It would just be harder for people to get there. And would kind of change the nature of what we were trying to do with IPSI, with having a variety of courses available to students. But we're constantly looking for ways to engage. We are, and our faculty are interested in traveling abroad. So, well, it's sometimes harder to bring students and programs on the road. It's easier to bring our faculty on the road. And so I have a faculty member who is going to be going to India to teach a course in February during our spring break. So there could be opportunities there to have a faculty member come and do something. Yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah, so the question was for the hybrid JD immersions, when you come 4 times a year, how long do you need to come for? They are typically 3 to 5 days. So they start like on a Thursday or Friday, and then you leave Sunday or Monday. Sometimes you're coming to our campus in Concord, particularly in that first year. And then sometimes the immersions are at different locations. So it could even be Boston, New York, but they tend to be more cities. But those are kind of optional as well. But it is 4 times a year that you're coming in person. We have an office of international students and scholars that will support you with the visa process. The way they've approached, so students who come for our LLM or our master's, they need the F1 student visa. With our hybrid JD program, they kind of look at it on a case by case basis on where students are coming from, which visa will fit them best, whether it's more of a tourist visa or a student visa. Pros and cons to each. So they really work with you individually to talk through the different options and see what will fit your needs best.
But how long do you stay during the 4 times a week?
Yeah, so each time is about 3 to 5 days. So
Okay.
typically classes will start like on a Thursday or Friday, and you'll be done on a Sunday or Monday. Yeah, so they're short.
Hi, my question is regarding the work experience that you mentioned. That's also a possibility after the program. Do you have any type of agreement or anything that could make it easier for the students to look for something, or maybe a job fair or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are, and I should clarify that the optional practical training is for students who've completed a degree program. So the LLM, the master's, the JD. We have relationships with employers, and we are constantly looking for different opportunities for our students. It's a different model in the US, I think, to many countries around the world, where there's not this like automatic, you graduate and now you've got an internship or a job here. But we're working with our alumni, employers who have hired our students in the past. It's really individualized services that you'll get with the Career Services Office. And they are really out there advocating on your behalf and trying to find something that's going to be the best fit for you. We have found that students who come to us with some amount of work experience first tend to be more successful. Students with engineering backgrounds, of course, that are more patent focused, there's lots of job opportunities there. Copyright, trademark can take a little bit more work to find the right fit. but we're finding it. They're always reluctant to kind of share concrete data, but I think every single one of our students who graduated last May who wanted to stay for OPT has found a job. So, and it's not just in New Hampshire. They're going some of them are wanting to stay locally, but they're in Atlanta, they're out. I think somebody is in Las Vegas. We had a student go to TikTok once, so they're moving throughout the US.
Which courses allow you to take the bar exam?
Yeah, so for the bar exam with the hybrid JD, you are eligible. There's some states that don't take it. New York is one of them, actually. However, with the LLM, there's fewer states that will allow LLM students to take the bar. New York tends to be the most popular option for our LLM students. So it can be a little bit complicated. There's a handful of states that allow LLM students to sit for the bar. But some of it is based on your qualifications before you even come to us. So having that first professional degree in law as well. Our traditional JD program gives you eligibility to sit for the bar in any state. Hybrid JD, a majority of states, there's a few though that are restricted. In any case, I think most students, even our JD students, are typically needing to spend a significant amount of time preparing for the bar exam after they've completed their studies as well. But the LLM does have a pathway to bar exam eligibility. It does require you to take certain courses during the program. I mentioned that the LLM it's 24 and the master's 30. Your tuition for the on-campus program allows you to take up to 34 credits at no additional cost. So I find that our students who are interested in sitting for a bar exam do need to take more than the minimum 24. However, I find that even if they're not taking a bar exam, they still want to take more than 24 because they want to make the most of their time with us. And so, our academic advising team and career services will work with you to make sure you're not taking on too much, but to help you achieve the goals. I should mention, though, that the online program is not the best pathway to bar exam eligibility. There's like a couple of states that will allow online programs, but again, there's certain courses you need to take, and those are not a part of our online program because they're so specialized in IP. Yeah, great question. Thank you. I don't see any other hands. And I'm happy to stick around for a few minutes after if anyone wants to talk privately. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.